The book of Job stands as one of the most profound and poetic writings in the Bible. It delves into some of the deepest questions humanity has ever wrestled with: suffering, justice, divine sovereignty, and the mystery of God's ways. More than just a story about a man named Job, this ancient text offers a powerful theological framework for understanding how God governs the world, not in ways that are always predictable or easily understood, but in a manner that is just, purposeful, and rooted in a wisdom far beyond human comprehension. At the beginning of the book, we are introduced to Job, a man described as blameless and upright, who fears God and shuns evil. He is prosperous and respected, enjoying a life of abundance and peace. But behind the scenes, a conversation unfolds in the heavenly realm that sets the entire story into motion. Satan challenges Job's integrity, arguing that Job is faithful only because of the blessings God has given him. God permits Satan to test Job, but within limits. What follows is a sequence of catastrophic losses: his wealth, his children, and finally, his health. Yet even in the depths of grief and pain, Job refuses to curse God. This opening passage already reveals something critical about divine governance. God allows trials not because he is absent or indifferent, but because they are part of a larger, unseen reality. The narrative pulls back the curtain and shows that not all suffering is a punishment for wrongdoing. Sometimes it is a test, a refining process, or a means of displaying deeper truths. As Job's friends arrive to comfort him, the dialogue shifts into a series of poetic debates. These friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, represent a traditional understanding of God's justice. The righteous are rewarded and the wicked are punished. In their eyes, Job must have sinned to deserve such suffering. But Job maintains his innocence and pleads for an audience with God, demanding to understand why this is happening to him. This tension highlights a key theme of the book. Human reasoning is often too limited to grasp the fullness of God's governance. The speeches of Job's friends reflect a moral calculus many people still believe, that life is a system of cause and effect, where good always leads to good and evil to suffering. But the book of Job confronts this simplistic theology. It shows that while God is just, his justice is not always immediately visible or understandable from a human perspective. God's eventual response to Job is one of the most dramatic and awe-inspiring moments in the Bible. Speaking out of a whirlwind, God does not give Job direct answers. Instead, he asks a series of rhetorical questions. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Have you ever commanded the morning to appear? Can you bind the chains of the Pleiades? These questions are not meant to shame Job, but to reveal the vastness of God's wisdom and the smallness of human understanding. Through this divine speech, the reader comes to a crucial realization. God governs the world not according to human expectations, but according to divine wisdom that transcends human comprehension. The world is not chaotic or random, even if it appears so. It is under the care of a creator who understands every detail, from the movement of the stars to the behavior of wild animals, things that no human could ever fully grasp. Job's response to God is not one of defiance, but of humility and repentance. He says, "Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know." In this, we see another critical insight into how God governs the world, not only with power and justice, but with mystery and grace. Job is restored, not because he figured everything out, but because he trusted God's character even when he could not understand his ways. The conclusion of the book is significant. God rebukes Job's friends for misrepresenting him and commends Job for speaking rightly about him, even though Job questioned and struggled. This teaches us that God values honest wrestling more than superficial piety. God's governance includes space for lament, for questioning, and for faith that holds on even in the dark. Ultimately, the book of Job doesn't offer easy answers, but it does offer profound wisdom. It teaches that God's rule is not mechanical or transactional, but deeply personal and rooted in a wisdom that spans the heavens and the earth. Suffering is not always a sign of divine punishment, and blessing is not always a reward for righteousness. The way God governs the world defies human logic, yet it is infused with purpose and love. In a world where people still ask, "Why do bad things happen to good people?" the book of Job remains deeply relevant. It invites us not to settle for shallow explanations, but to trust in the God who created all things, who sees what we cannot see, and who governs the world with justice, compassion, and infinite wisdom.